I can't help but when I grew up in Colorado, so
What
these
part?
things, Fort Collins,
Fort Collins.
close to Essersburg. Yeah. So watching this, I can't help but think about how you guys filmed it, kind of walking and talking and hiking. I know you're professionals, but when I've been hiking, I feel like you always look down. How did you kind of film the walking active scenes without injuring yourselves? With all the dialogue.
Well, first of all, I went to school in Colorado. Went to Boulder.
That's right.
Yeah, went to Boulder for a while, and then I spent a lot of time in the mountains, and I went there to be in the mountains.
Yes.
So I climbed Long's Peak. I climbed other mountains in Colorado. So
was
I
my
was pretty
first one.
familiar with the woods.
Yeah.
And so this was about delivering the hardship of being in the woods, but also the joy of being in the woods. I had experienced both.
Yeah.
So you wanted to put that on the screen. So that was one of the ideas behind it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it was a comedy. It was a comedy with pathos attached. It was about friendship lost and then regained. So we put all those elements together. It spoke to me. It really did. I said, this feels like a film worth making, because it can be uplifting. Also, it's different, and also it's serving also an underserved part of the audience, the older generation.
Yes. I believe that. I know that it was a longer development process for you, since you've been committed and had passion projects throughout your career. How do you decide? Do you have like a pile of projects that will always be hopefully to be made? When do they lose hope? How do you decide when to keep going forward with ones that have been?
Well, there have been a few films that I've made that took a long time to get made. Because there was either resistance or people felt that it was not commercial, or whatever the reasons were. Right? And so therefore, it puts to you to persevere. If you really believe in something, you have to be persevering and have belief in it. And you can only go so long that way until you give up, or you don't. So there's been a few of those in my career where I really believed in something and I just stayed at it. But this was the longest one, because this started in 2004.
Yeah.
This was the longest one to get finally to the screen, because I just totally believed it was a story that was uplifting, it was about something, and had all the elements that interested me as a person and as a film person.
Yeah.
So it finally happened.
Yeah. Do you hope that people kind of go explore a little nature on their own?
I do.
Like that? Yeah. Nothing
to be lost, because it's shrinking so fast. What's natural out there is being overwhelmed by development, so you better do it while it's still there.
Yeah. What's the good news in your perspective, since you are so embedded in the conservation
The good
world?
news?
Yeah, is there any?
In terms of this film?
Well, in terms of the environment and conservation.
There's not a lot of good news.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of good news, because I think it all goes all the way back to manifest destiny, which is one of the characteristics of America. You can control or own what you can conquer, and that had to do with land, and that was okay up to a point.
Yeah.
But we're long past that, and there are no frontiers left to conquer. Now it's a question of what are we going to develop for our survival, and what are we going to preserve for our survival? And if we don't preserve an equal amount, there'll be nothing left for any future generations. So I'm pretty adamant about that, and that's why I'm an environmental activist.
Yeah, well, good. This helps people, I think, want to go at least experience a little bit of it. So hopefully that'll help.
Well, I hope.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.